Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're all about a really cool monkey. I don't know how much you know about the white-throated Guenon, but
Not as much as we're going to learn today, I bet.
yeah, exactly. And, we want to get beyond just the basics, right? We want to find out what makes them tick, why they're so special, and maybe some of the trouble they're facing out there.
Well, buckle up, because they're definitely a unique bunch with a story to tell,
Yeah.
and one that I think everyone should hear, for sure.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. What does this white-throated Guenon actually look like? I'm picturing a monkey, obviously.
Oh yeah, definitely a monkey. But picture this. White throat and chest, really bright, almost pops out at you. Then reddish-brown back, black limbs.
Oh, that's a striking contrast.
Yeah, right? And the final touch, a white stripe right above the eyes, like a stylish little eyebrow.
Huh, I like that. Okay, so it's not just a pretty face, though, is it? I'm guessing this coloration has something to do with their environment, like camouflage or something.
You got it. It helps them blend in and also maybe even signal to each other. The thing is, you're only going to find these monkeys in a very specific part of the world. Think West Africa.
Okay, West Africa's big. Be more specific.
All right, I got you. Mainly the forests and wetlands of Nigeria and Benin. That's it, really.
Oh, well, so that's a pretty limited range, huh?
Yeah, it is, and that makes them super vulnerable if something happens to their habitat, you know?
Right, that makes sense. Okay, so speaking of vulnerability, what's the biggest threat they face? Is it all about losing their habitat?
Well, habitat loss is a huge problem, for sure. Deforestation, it's happening all over, right? For agriculture, logging, development, all of that shrinks their home fast.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine what that must be like for them.
And it's not just that, sadly. You've also got hunting. Bushmeat trade is a real issue, and then there's the illegal pet trade, too.
That's awful. I always hate hearing about that. Earlier you mentioned they're really important to their ecosystem. Can you tell me more about that? What makes them so vital?
Well, think of them as these little forest gardeners. Seriously.
Yeah.
See, they eat a lot of fruit. And as they move around, well, they disperse those seeds, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get the picture. So they're basically planting the forest of the future just by going about their monkey business. What kinds of trees and stuff rely on them for this service?
Oh, tons. Many of the trees that make up their forest homes actually depend on them to spread their seeds. They're big fans of figs, for example. And fig trees, those are like superstars in a lot of tropical forests, so many other plants and animals rely on them.
Wow, so losing the white-throated guanon could really mess things up, huh? Like a domino effect.
Exactly. It really shows how interconnected everything is, right? Lose one piece and the whole system starts to wobble.
Okay, so we've got this critically important, super fashionable monkey, but what's their social life like? Are they loners or are they more social butterflies?
Oh, definitely more social butterflies. They live in these groups, usually about 10 to 30 individuals, and there's always a dominant male calling the shots. But it's a really complex social structure, you know? Lots of communication going on all the time, vocalizations, facial expressions, body language.
Yeah.
The works.
So it's like a little chattering city up in the trees, huh?
You got it. They're pretty noisy neighbors, that's for sure.
So besides, the latest forest gossip, what are they chattering about? I mean, what do these monkeys eat anyway?
Well, they're what we call opportunistic omnivores. Basically, they aren't picky eaters at all. They'll go for fruits, seeds, flowers, leaves, even insects. Pretty much anything that looks edible, they'll give it a go.
Like a buffet up in the trees.
Pretty much. And, they often forage in groups, too. More eyes to find those tasty morsels.
That's smart, but wouldn't foraging in a big group make them more vulnerable to predators? Like eagles or snakes or, I don't know, leopards? Wouldn't those stand out?
Oh, absolutely. That's the trade-off, right? Being in a group makes you more visible, but you also have more eyes looking out for danger.
True. Safety in numbers, as they say.
Yeah, exactly. And get this. They even have different alarm calls for different types of predators. Like, they've got one call for an eagle, a different one for a snake.
Whoa, that's amazing. So they're not just chattering, they're talking.
In a way, yeah, they're communicating vital information to keep the group safe.
That's so cool. Okay, so we've got this incredible primate, gorgeous, crucial to the ecosystem, but also facing all these threats. What's being done to help them? Are there any success stories out there?
Well, there's some good news. There are a few national parks and reserves within their range, and those offer some protection. And there are some amazing organizations working really hard to stop poaching and raise awareness about the pet trade.
Okay, that's good to hear. But I imagine it's not easy, right?
Yeah.
What kind of challenges do these conservation efforts run into?
Oh, man. Where do I even begin? Funding is always an issue, and enforcing rules in these remote areas, it's really tough. But honestly, the biggest hurdle might be changing people's minds. Locally, and globally. We need to show people why these monkeys matter.
That's a great point. You've really painted this incredible picture of this monkey that's so important, so essential to its ecosystem, facing an uncertain future, but with people fighting for it. So what's the one thing you want our listener to walk away with today?
Hmm. I guess I'd say this. Every creature, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, has a role to play in the big picture. And even just learning about these animals, the challenges they face, that's a step towards understanding how connected everything on our planet really is.
That's a powerful message for sure. And it makes you think, what if we all stopped for a second and considered how our actions, even the little things, might affect creatures like the white-throated guenon? Anyway, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've learned something new and maybe gained a new appreciation for this incredible monkey.
Totally. It's been a pleasure chatting about them with you.
And with you all, of course. Until next time, stay curious.